You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
Most local footy pre-seasons kicked off within the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I said to you guys before, I ended up skipping out last week and I went to my first training last night, but I made a grave error.
Yeah, so like you're regretting potentially, going to the training at all?
Not the training, what I did beforehand though, is what I'm regretting. I mean, this is so grave, I've possibly ruined my Christmas day.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And this all starts because training kicked off at about 6 o'clock last night, and I decided, because I hadn't eaten much in the day, I'll have a quick, light dinner beforehand.
Yeah.
So what do I get? I had a seafood basket.
Seafood basket before exercise? You crazy?
It's not necessarily light, is it?
No. I got carried away on the prawns, and this is all about half an hour before training as well.
And I'm assuming, because it's a seafood basket, I don't know where you got it from, but is it pretty heavily battered?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like, when
We're
you get...
talking crumbed everything.
Right, so it's not when you get a nice little touch of batter on the salt and pepper squid. It's quite light and airy. This is thick, heavy batter over fish, oily as hell.
How many prawns do you reckon you went through?
About 12.
Oh my god!
So you've eaten a family of prawns?
Yeah.
Were
Small generation.
Were you stealing from some other family's basket as well? How many prawns did you actually pay for, and how many did you eat?
There was about 12 on the plate.
Yeah.
And I ate the whole lot.
And you were the only person eating the basket?
Yeah. So
you weren't even with mates either?
Nah.
A pretty gloomy session at Barnacle Bill or something?
So I've had this seafood basket and I've got about 20 minutes to make it to training. So I'm like, oh God, go there on a full tum. And the thing about pre-season is it's a hell of a lot of running.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
it's a lot of what you're doing as opposed to drills and things like that.
It's mainly just trying to get you fit before the season starts. So it's just mainly running. And I learned something pretty fatal last night. And that is, running and seafood is not a good mix.
Yeah. I mean, anyone could have told you. Anyone.
So I get about halfway through the sesh, and I've already had a few scares earlier on. But I've hit the halfway point, and we've just done this long run. Just did about 1,200 metres back and forth non-stop at about a 70% rate. So I'm giving it my all. And just as that finishes... they're lining up to do another one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I can do it.
The prawns say no.
The prawns were saying no, so I had to bow out and sneak off to the bathroom for some, let's just call it relief.
Yeah.
And as I'm in the bathroom, it's not going well for me. It got so bad that at one point I got a little lightheaded, then my vision went all black and I fell over.
Really?
And
from a seafood coma?
A seafood coma. And then a couple minutes later, I came back to it. I stood up, and then I'm like, oh no. And I've done the whole process again, lightheaded again, vision gone black, and I've fallen over again. Finally, I've gotten up, and eventually I was able to rejoin the group and finish off training, but not before I had already ruined prawns for myself. 7 days away from the big day, the day where you have lots of prawns. I don't know if I can eat another prawn ever again.
I mean, I'd say that was the family of prawns' last revenge.
Yeah.
You ate their grandma, grandpa, grandkids, and family in between, mate.
I mean, that is a terrible aftermath, though, because we even said, last week, the best things about Christmas are, say, the ham and especially the prawns with that seafood sauce. But a lot of people do like them, Davo.
I know.
And, they're a popular big hitter. So for that to be ruined on Christmas Day and watching everyone else eat the prawns, it's going to suck.
That's the thing. We usually get a couple kilos of prawns.
Yeah, full bags.
You have a lot at lunch, and then you carry on the rest at dinner time.
Boxing Day as well.
Few in
It's all
between.
over.
Boxing Day, yeah. I don't know if I can do it.
You don't think you could do one?
I don't think I could even do one. I'll give it a shot, but I mean, I think I've ruined prawns for myself, and I want to open up the phone lines here. What food was ruined for you, Adelaide? It's prawns for me.
I think you'll get a few people on the text line saying fish-related stuff. I feel like fish and prawns, that's a big hitter for having it ruined.
For me, it was Weet-Bix. In high school, I used to have Weet-Bix every day after school, and then one day I think I had one warmed up. With the warm milk, and I was like, yuck, yuck, and I don't think I've ever eaten them again.
That's awful. Do you need a hug?
Nah,
I love
I'm
Weet-Bix.
alright, mate.
Heaps of different things on the text line of foods that have been ruined by from people. This one here, someone said, I ate hard-boiled eggs constantly for a period for about a month, and then one day had one that was slightly runny, smelt it, and haven't looked at an egg since.
Eggs are a funny one. I think eggs can be, if you do overdo an egg, you're done with it for a while, I'd say.
Yeah. I had a point where I went about 5 years not touching eggs, and now I'm back on the egg train.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
If you've ever had a poached egg that isn't cooked quite right, you're devastated by it.
Yeah.
That'll put you off for a couple of months.
There is a thing called the egg ick that people get, and it is just, when there is like a smell to it or like a feel, and, it does put people off. It's meant to be like a phenomenon, for sure.
Got another text here. It goes, Paulie here, ruined my favourite, a Coles hot chook after eating an entire one under the influence before. I knew I was full, but kept going. Now the smell of one gets to me.
Wow.
Yeah, chicken's another pretty offensive one that can be off-putting.
Yeah. That's a horrible outcome, though, not being able to go into a chicken shop.
Yeah, the bachelor's handbag off the cards.
And I wonder if it affects, other things like, chicken crimpies or things that have that artificial chicken flavour with it.
Hope not.
What about this one here? It says, I can't drink milk without thinking about cows' pink udders. Oh. It's foul. I used to love it, but after visiting a dairy farm, nope.
Yeah. One of those, you see it in action and then you just, it does put you off. And someone here, this one's real gross, and I've seen a video of this before, but someone said seeing a real balut in Vietnam put me off eggs for a long time, and then they explained it's the fertilised egg that they eat over there, so it's when the bird is still in the egg.
Oh, yeah.
And then they eat that.
Nah.
Yeah, I've seen that. Hey, we're going to head to the phone lines. We're going to Selleck's Beach. We got Talaire on the line. Talaire, good morning. How you going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Hey, Talaire, how old are you?
I'm only 11.
11 years old, and you've already got a food ruined for you. That's no good.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's gelatin.
Gelatin. See, I feel like that's no good for a kid as well, because as a kid, I loved jelly.
Yeah,
so are you telling
jelly?
us, Talaire, you can't eat jelly anymore?
No, I cannot.
Oh, that's no good.
What ruined it for you?
Well, I thought jelly was just sugar and water frozen.
Yeah.
And then I found out it had pig products in it.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, your mum's not going to appreciate this, but it's also in everything else, babe. So,
well, you wanted to not eat anything? You wanted to starve?
Talaire, don't listen to Davo. You just keep doing you. Avoid jelly, but eat everything else, all right?
Yeah.
Good on you, Talaire. Hey, let's go we've got Taylor for our workday on the line. Taylor, what's going on?
Morning, guys. That poor girl's never going to eat jelly or anything ever again. I actually, look, for context, I'm not a big drinker, and a couple of years ago, I got involved in the Christmas drinking celebrations, drink responsibly, of course, and I got alcohol poisoning.
Oh,
and the
no.
next day, I decided to eat some air-fried broccoli for some reason, and I spent the next 48 hours throwing that up. So for 2 years, I haven't been able to eat broccoli.
That's horrific.
I mean,
air-fried broccoli.
I feel like you're living a kid's dream, not being able to eat broccoli.
Yeah, and you've got a good excuse for it as well.
I finally started to like it. It's the only green that I eat. Now I can't even eat that.
Oh, yuck. Yeah, that's an odd choice after a big night.
What do you put on air-fried broccoli? Are you slapping it with a bit of oil or, anything on top of it?
A bit of butter, a bit of salt, a bit of oil, but never again. Never again.
Right.
It sounds like it could be alright.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of salivating over
curious.
here.
All right. I get older. The Davo, Tom, and Callum podcast stays the same age.
Our beautiful city of Adelaide has been the butt of jokes around the country for years, which I'd say is getting a little bit stale because this year we absolutely slayed. We had Live Golf.
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal coming out saying we're the place to visit down under.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, not only that, there was the Live Golf, as I said, the Velo.
I was going to say,
Gather Round.
So many different festivals. We really did boost up, and Classic Fringe, this year, obviously very massive too.
Absolutely.
Yes, but these sort of things should be sort of pushing away the bad headlines, but unfortunately Adelaide still seems to make national news for the weirdest things. So I thought I'd go through a few of them that have popped up over the year. So first things first, I want to talk about the Sam Smith concert in McLaren Vale.
Yeah.
Of course, it made national news not only for the 34 million marketing costs, but the fact that an influencer peed in the crowd mid-concert.
Yeah. Heard a lot about that.
But that whole concert, let's shun that one. Let's forget about it. Put a black mark over it and just pretend like it didn't happen.
I like how the peeing incident circulated not only through the news but through people we knew that went to the concert as well.
Yeah,
it was quite close to home. But yeah, definitely a bit of on a different note, I guess. It was kind of cool that Adelaide got the first. We had the pick of that concert.
Yeah,
no one else got it.
I know, but the point is that the national news said that an influencer peed on the ground.
I know the peeing is still a thing.
For all we know, that influencer could have been from Victoria.
Yeah, just doing it out of spite.
We also had Mick Malloy. He made national headlines talking about South Australia as he threatened to bring fruit into the state and fruit flies.
That's right.
Obviously a huge no-no, got in a bit of strife about that.
Yeah, he made a huge call with that one.
And then, of course, we got praise for our housing costs in a town called Andamuka.
And a bloody mooka.
600 dusty k's north of Adelaide and smack bang in the middle of nowhere.
Some people have said it looks like a dump site.
So that was on the project.
Yeah.
We had Sam Taunton talking crap about our state.
I feel like Adelaide is just. I feel like it's at least it feels like once every few months it's the jokester on the project, whether it's Sam Taunton or it's Peter Hellier, and Adelaide gets the piss taken out of us.
Well, that's just it. I mean, they're talking about this mining town. They're highlighting all these beautiful people that live there, but then they bring this up.
There's quite a few artists here of different sorts. So we've got a guy who calls himself Cal the Stoner.
He works in stonemasonry, okay?
Then we also had, quick one here, Fantails. They were discontinued. That made national headlines.
Yeah.
That was an absolute rampage in the shops.
Are they back now, Fantails?
I
see them everywhere now.
I've seen them on the counter at shops, and I'm not sure whether they're kind of, bootlegging. They've just been put on the counter, and they're the real last ones, or if they've just started making them again.
I think it was just one hell of a marketing scheme.
Could have been.
It could have been. The biggest story out of our state this year, and I must say, like we said, there was the gather round. We had the NFL final here. NRL? Good work.
Yeah. The State of Origin.
The State of Origin. We also had Live Golf, all of these things here, but the biggest story to come out of South Australia this year was... Man eats raw chicken drumsticks while on escalator in Marion Shopping Centre. He had no shoes and a whole lot of confidence in his stomach.
Yeah. There's a video footage of him just going hell for leather, straight out of the pack, raw chicken drummies.
And for good reason that it went worldwide. Obviously, I want to defend Adelaide, but, that one was just a bit irredeemable.
Yeah, like we said, that one, not only made national headlines, I think I actually got that from the New York Post.
Yeah.
What is going on?
There's going to be a couple weird cats wherever you go, okay? We can't help it. That Marion man, he's out of the news now. Let's keep it that way.
You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
We're really in the season of Christmas parties, and, it's getting close, obviously, to the Christmas days, so all the work parties are happening, so that also means people are laying low.
Yeah.
People are, in their houses, not wanting to, maybe turning their phone off for a little bit, chucking in airplane mode, nothing.
Shutting the blinds.
Yeah.
Ending the year with a real bang,
Yeah, literally. And I guess this always happens, around Adelaide, I guess some parties are tame, but there has to be so many parties out there where, it gets a little bit explosive. I guess people vent up stuff over the year.
There's always one.
It just happens.
Yeah.
There has to be a bit of drama going around these Adelaide Christmas parties.
Well, that's just that. It's like, the end of the year has been a long, stressful year. Lots been going on, maybe tensions in the office, maybe, a bit of alcohol sprinkled in there as well. It can be absolute trouble.
Yeah, definitely. And we had ours the other day, and I have to say it was fairly tame. Fairly respectable, actually.
Yeah, it was. I think a lot of people were a bit dusty from the day before, so no one gave it their all.
The energy levels weren't there enough for any havoc to happen. But it's really interesting, though, looking at some stats that came out, a survey around Australia actually quite recently, and it's so weird the percentages they go for of what has happened at a party, at the Christmas parties, what the most common troubles that occur are.
Interesting.
And the last one on the list, at 5% of people being surveyed say, yes, I've seen it happen or they've been a part of it, is driving over the limit. Unfortunately, it's not a good one. But 8% got into a fight. Wow. So a bit of a brawl at the workplace. Is that 8% of someone experiencing it somehow? Shouting at your boss, 10%. I feel like that's way too high. 10% for shouting at the big man?
Yeah.
No way.
When I was younger and I worked at Flight Centre, I think it was the first time I'd ever drunk champagne at the Christmas party. I yelled at the boss. It wasn't good.
I know, I've heard that. I feel like every Christmas that story comes up.
It's horrendous.
Yeah, I remember getting into like a few jobs back, not this one, but I got into an argument with a boss at the Christmas party dinner, but he was so weird. He was berating me and someone else, but then he would be like, "Do you want a shazlik?" And then and he was one of those weird, like his mood would just jump between the two, either like screaming at someone,
please, eat.
like, please, you're at my home.
But screw you.
Have some Szechuan sauce.
I could kick you out at any moment, but have a shazlik.
You really didn't know where you stood with that bloke for the entirety of that career. But this one here, 23% kissed a colleague.
Right.
I feel like that one, office romance, does happen a little bit.
Yeah.
28% had to leave early due to being too drunk. So you get a bit passouty. And 34%...
Almost seems a little low.
Yeah, for a Christmas party as well. And 34%, the highest that people have experienced, is embarrassing yourself on the dance floor.
I mean, I don't think there's anything you could really do to embarrass yourself on the dance floor, is there?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe,
I don't know. 2023 pulling out the sprinkler might not be the best idea.
True.
Yeah, I guess that might get intertwined with, say, kissing a colleague. They could be, I don't know, you could be a bit flirtatious on the dance floor or something. I feel like they go hand in hand a bit.
You've got the rose in your mouth and you're trying to slow dance with the boss.
trying to do a backflip, land on your feet, handling the rose with your teeth.
Shorty asked you to get low, you couldn't get up.
Or a failed worm could slap your face on the ground a little bit. I feel like there's a few things that could happen.
We want to open up the text line here. What happened at the Christmas party, Adelaide? Hey, the Fresh fam have not held back here. They've really There's some questionable text coming through our text line at the moment. This first one that's come through says, I told the payroll lady she's got a nice pair, then tried to play with them.
I wouldn't have read that.
That's terrible.
That's awful.
That's cooked.
That's hitting all those percentages. Too much to drink.
I feel like
kissing a colleague.
This person
The guy's a pig.
non-reputable person all round.
I don't know why you'd share that. Just keep that to yourself.
I don't know why you'd do it. /share it.
We got someone, this is awful. It says, someone took a dump in the rubbish bin at my partner's Christmas party in the office. Still haven't found out who.
All these cretins around Adelaide at the Christmas parties. This is terrible.
You wouldn't want to check the cameras either, would you? Because you just wouldn't want to see an act like that.
I feel so disappointed.
You just, that's one of those you literally couldn't show your face if they found out it was you.
Nah.
This one here is quite funny. At a Christmas, still not great.
All three of these texts are dicey as.
At a Christmas party at Adelaide Oval, we asked the waiter for a lemonade for my then 6-year-old son Jack. The waiter must have lost his mind because he brought out Jack over a gin and tonic. This was Jack's first attempt at trying a soft drink, and needless to say, he hated it. Have a great Christmas, gang. Tim and Jack.
I mean, did his 6-year-old have a beard? What? What on earth?
Yeah, tonic as well.
Was it a costume party? Yeah, dressed up as Santa, full beard.
Got another text here. Christmas party was at boss's house. I slipped down his stairs and fell through his glass door, shattering it. Had to be taken away in an ambulance to check I was all good and got wheeled out in front of the whole workplace. I quote, a few months later.
Wow, what are these idiots we are?
Jeez. There's another one that just came through. We shouldn't read that one out. We'll leave it there.
Oh, my goodness.
First rule of the Davo, Tom and Callum podcast is you don't talk about the Davo, Tom and Callum podcast. The second rule of the Davo, Tom and Callum podcast is you don't talk about the Davo, Tom and Callum podcast.
God, if I had a penny every time we were talking about a new dating trend this year, I'd be a very rich man.
Yeah, and none of them are that good because we don't really remember them. I couldn't go back and tell you what they were. They all kind of, they're all a bit shoddy.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, I've not put one to practice.
Not one.
No,
none of us have. But this latest one maybe is for you. Maybe you could put this one to practice. It's really caught my eye. It's not per se a dating trend. It's more so for in the bedroom, but it's gaining a lot of traction at the moment. And, this isn't to shame anyone out there that might be into this, but boy, is it wild.
Yeah.
It's called sploshing, right?
Which sounds horrendous.
Yeah,
already.
off the bat, I know it sounds not safe for radio, but I swear to God it is.
It's one of those ones that it sounds like what it would sound like when it's happening.
Yeah.
As you say it verbally.
Well, kind of is, to be honest. It actually first started gaining traction all the way back in '89 from a magazine with the same name, Splosh.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but Splosh was a foodie magazine where it would have pretty girls in there, you know, covering themselves in cakes and whatnot.
Really?
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting that was back around, you know, in the 80s, because from what I've heard from friends and other people... It's,
What? Here we go. What?
No, of course, like, you have, like, mukbang stuff. You have, like, girls, like, eating food and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, you know, you see that on OnlyFans and things like that.
Do you?
So my cousin would tell me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's other stuff like that, you know. So it's interesting that was around in the 80s.
Like I said, not to shame anyone, but yeah.
No, not me.
This is just, I find this pretty wild. But yeah, sploshing and the inclusion of food in the bedroom, which has been around a while. But what I didn't realise is that sploshing is actually a subcategory in this huge world of wham, it's called. What is wham, you ask me?
Oh, it doesn't have anything to do with the band, does it?
Nah. It's
Wake me up before you go.
it stands for wet and messy, baby.
Oh,
so
right.
this can stray away from the food world. Some people are into the muds and the slimes, getting that involved.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe doing Ghostbusters cosplay.
Well, like ectoplasm around the walls.
Yeah, something like that.
You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
I feel like it's quite funny, the sort of crap that you get for Secret Santa. And, you know, we're really in the swing of it as it's coming to Christmas. And whether you're doing Secret Santa, you know, at work or if you're doing it with family, it is all just, you know... It's just sometimes a bit underwhelming, isn't it?
Well, it's
But
always
that's
like
the nature of it.
it's always got a pretty casual limit on it, like $20. Usually, I've seen at most.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So it is more of a gimmicky sort of gift to give someone.
Yeah, you're not getting anything too fancy for $20.
Can you imagine?
Although
though?
I would be happy with a voucher. Just a $20 voucher would be so great for me.
Are you planting the seed for everyone upstairs that may have you for the work?
No,
Secret Santa?
I just mean, like, I know you can't get anything too special, but a $20 voucher I'd still be pretty chuffed with. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, see, I don't know about the vouchers. I feel like less thought goes into a voucher than like a gimmicky gift. If you get something that suits their personality well, even if it is crap.
Right, okay, so no vouchers for you. Get
No
something
vouchers,
gimmicky.
no, yeah, something gimmicky.
All right. Well, I mean, you were complaining about the gimmicky present you got last year from work, which is... So I don't know. I think in that circumstance, you probably would have preferred a voucher instead of the phone jail that you got.
Yeah, I got a little phone jail cage. I still haven't set it up. I didn't complain about it. It's fine. It was just out of nowhere. I didn't get it.
Saying it's fine is complaining about it in my books, because you weren't chuffed about it. You were kind of just like, oh, yeah,
I was
it's a
just
phone.
confused at first.
Because it's like, what was it? You're on your phone too much. So the bloke, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm famously never on my phone. I'm terrible at replying to messages. I always have it upside down. That's why I didn't get it.
Right.
But I do want to construct it still.
Yeah,
maybe this Christmas.
Something fun to build. But yes, there are so many different weird presents and things like that. And I actually had my we did a kind of early family Christmas for my dad's side on the weekend, and we did Secret Santa as well. And it's just so funny, the stuff that goes around there too. Looking it around, a jar of olives. And my cousin Tim was really contemplating the olives.
I would like. What kind of olives were they? Like Kalamata, green olives, stuffed?
It was the black olives.
Yeah,
And
okay.
So it really goes to show that, you know, it's really up to the eye of the beholder, isn't it, of what you like with Kris Kringle, because Tim, my cousin, loved it.
Yeah.
And he was like eyeing off the olives, he's turning it upside down, having a look inside. He's like,
Pizzas tonight, boys.
But, you know, we're talking about the limit before, and there's always someone that spends over the limit and then is so angry with what they've gotten. So with a family Christmas many years ago, I remember some bloke got like a Blu-ray player for someone.
Jeez.
Right.
You know, really
what
nice.
was the limit like for everyone
I
else?
$30 maybe.
And
I
he
don't
got
know.
a Blu-ray player.
Because he got
That's
excited.
overkill.
But then he got a crappy little $20 fishing rod and he was furious. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing that can go wrong with Secret Santa, is that you go rogue and then all of a sudden you're disappointed.
And And it's so funny as well that the person who gave him the fishing rod has no connection whatsoever to the Blu-ray player or anything else.
They don't know.
They don't know any better.
They've just followed the rules.
We had my family, my dad's family on the weekend, and it was actually insane because we play it as if you can steal from one another.
Yep.
So if you open up the present, you've seen it. The next person who doesn't have a present can look at that and say, "Hey, I want to steal it from you."
Yeah.
And then they take it, and the process goes on.
Right.
What was really sick, I thought, and a reason why the game is a bit controversial, is because I feel like the big rules should be you shouldn't steal from a kid.
Yeah.
Or my nana, who's like 97. And my Uncle Byron is one of the kids, one of my nephews, Charlie, is like probably 5 or something.
Yeah.
He's opened up his present, and it's a box of favourites.
Perfect.
So he's chuffed. Like, he's 5 years old, like a box of favourites, it's killer.
Yeah.
Uncle Byron looks at it, he's like, does he even eat chocolate?
Well, does a 5-year-old eat chocolate? Yeah.
He's like, I'm kind of eyeing that off. Looks pretty good. I do like chocolate. He takes it from Charlie, takes that chocolate, and then he literally says, it's like taking candy from a baby.
Loved it.
Terrible dude.
Did you get a crappy Secret Santa gift? I want to hear the worst one going around Adelaide.
I mean, specifically at that family one that I did, it was, I got wine glasses. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
It's all right.
Great. Middle of the range, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, so many around Adelaide have got some shocking gifts. There's one text here that says, I got given a sex toy at my workplace Secret Santa.
That's crazy, isn't it? Because, they're always in a group setting, obviously, and, in a work environment, they're always quite big, so... Yeah, it's a bit of a dicey one. Wait, are you laughing because you gave someone a sex toy last year?
Yeah, for the work one.
Yeah.
And then they swiftly returned it back to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they had to. They were in public. They had to return it. I'm not sure whether they asked for it back under covers.
After hours.
Yeah. Someone said, I received a prank prescription for anti-arsehole pills, which isn't the worst thing. I can be a bit of an arsehole.
I got the boss a slice of humble pie, baked it myself, quit 3 months later. Yeah, that's someone who has been ready to quit for months and months before that.
What about this text here? It says, my worst Secret Santa gift was a set of tumblers with scantily clad women on them. When you filled them with an icy drink, the ladies' clothes disappeared.
Yeah. Are you from the
that's
90s?
Great. What are you, we're asking
funny.
for the bad Secret Santa gifts. That sounds great.
These are all reminding me as well. I remember seeing someone else's Secret Santa and they got a mug that it was like a novelty mug that said, I don't have anger issues on it, but it had, a bit of a notch taken out of the mug. So it was broken, so it looked like you'd smashed it. So the idea is that you do have anger issues. The guy literally opened up the mug, took a look at it, he's like, what do you mean? And then the girls...
Then he smashed the mug.
And then the dude had to explain, like, oh, it's because you're angry. And he's like, I'm not angry. And then I proceeded to berate the guy about the gift.
Hey, we're going to cross over to Hillbank. We got Liam on the line. Liam, mate, did you get a bad Secret Santa gift?
Yeah, how are you guys? Basically, I had done Secret Santa with the family and a couple of the family members I hadn't seen for years. Mm-hmm. And one of them had decided to buy me a pair of underwear that were about 3 sizes too small and spelled my name wrong.
Wow.
Oh, how'd they spell it? Liam seems like a pretty, universal way of spelling it.
Well, I'm assuming they used to pronounce it Liam, so they Liem. Is how they had it.
Right.
Wait, when you said the name was spelled wrong, the name wasn't on the undies. You're talking about being on the card, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was one of those, like you write the day on the back of the undies or something.
Yeah, the L's backwards.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't usually write on undies.
Oh, good on you, Liam. Sorry to hear, mate. That sucks. Hey, let's go to Leanne. Leanne, have you got a terrible Secret Santa gift?
Hi, I was given a box of cling wrap.
Cling wrap?
What for?
Apparently, he thought it was a cool type of cling wrap from America that we can't get here in Australia.
Oh,
How boring is this guy?
Oh, this guy in the office. This isn't actually a very nice cling wrap from America.
Tupperware for next year.
I did use it.
Yeah. What was the limit for your Secret Santa?
$25.
$25 and he's got your cling wrap. And there was nothing else.
No, there was a box of chocolate with it.
Oh,
You know what?
You can cling wrap the chocolates.
If it's $25 cling wrap, though, maybe the person does have a point. It could be quite good. That could be some really special cling wrap.
Yeah, was it good cling wrap? Did you get through it all?
I did use it all, but I've gone back to using just normal cling wrap that we get here in Australia.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, there's no need for $25 cling wrap, is there?
First you get the sugar, then you get the power, then you get the Davo, Tom and Callum podcast.
We're heading over to Japan because there's a new celebrity there that's driving the ladies absolutely wild. His name is Shibani. He's been described as alluring, too handsome, impressive muscles, a hairy heartthrob, and he can also be described as a gorilla.
Windmill for the land.
And yes, I mean the animal, the gorilla animal.
He's not in the band.
No, not in the gorillas.
Yes, he's the new drummer. He's just hanging around Japan these days.
No, well, he is a gorilla. He's in a Japanese zoo. He's been there since March, and yes, he is driving the ladies wild with 100 admirers constantly there to see him. Apparently, they all stand on the sidelines screaming, "Shibani, look at me!" Over here, Shibani.
What, human girls are going there?
Human girls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he's got a bit of attention.
And where's this, Japan?
In Japan.
Yeah, that tracks.
So, I mean, also, you can check out on... keep moving. You can check out on Twitter. The admirers are also swapping photos of him close up, showing his impressive muscles, sizzling snapshots of Shibani. All these description of this gorilla is very sexualized.
Yeah. Well, like you said, he's getting so much traction. If you have a look online, he's everywhere. You know, you got a picture of him here. He's actually striking a pose in a lot of the pictures. It's very, very photogenic.
What I've found a little disturbing is I've had a look at him online as well, and one of the first images that pop up if you go to Google Images, you can actually buy a pillow in the shape of Shibani.
What, like a body pillow?
A body pillow so you can cuddle up to Shibani every night, and his arms can go around you too.
Jeez.
People have gone absolutely nuts for this gorilla. I mean, he is taken though, unfortunately, ladies.
He's got a GF.
He's got a GF. He's got a couple of kids as well.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, he's said to be an excellent father. Of course, he's getting accolades there as well. And someone on the zookeepers has said that he seemed to have noticed his new popularity, but he's kept it very cool.
I wonder if he's sort of in his head with the turmoil, like, geez, I'm quite popular now. Do I ditch the wife and kids?
Yeah. Is she punching or is she just as handsome?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. This gorilla is confusing.
Yeah.
You guys have seen a picture of him.
He's jacked.
Don't try and backtrack now, Callum. You were licking your lips off
Licking
air.
my lips at the gorilla? Obviously wasn't. I said that he was pretty ripped.
Yeah.
You said some much more disturbed things about the gorilla.
Yeah, things we can't get into right now.
You're listening to Davo, Tom and Callum, the podcast.
We need to have a chat about Cyclone Jasper. Of course, it's been causing absolute havoc up in northern Queensland. You know, homes are underwater, people are stranded as far north Queensland smashed by record flooding.
Yep.
I mean, the reports have said that over 24 hours to 9 a.m. yesterday, throughout the Daintree, Mossman, Barron catchments, they had 500 millimetres of rain.
Wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
Massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so devastating for the people of Queensland and, you know, family and friends that surround them, but it also highlights how lucky and grateful we should be to live here in SA. But throughout crisis, of course, there's always a beacon of hope and light, and that, of course, is the pub.
Yeah.
It's always the pub.
Well, that's me and Tom's motto in Adelaide, even when there aren't floods, you know. It's
we know.
Where we like to go
We
during
know.
any sort of small crisis.
But yes, over the weekend, the Uramo Hotel, so this hotel is located halfway between Townsville and Cairns. They actually rebranded it as the Uramo Yacht Club over the weekend, where some incredible footage has come out. And it's all these locals that have rocked up to this pub on their tinnies for a beer. Now, you guys have seen the footage.
Yeah, this is the one of the most Australian things I've ever seen. All the tinnies parked by the pub, and then the camera pans onto tens and tens of people.
Absolutely.
Clogging up this balcony of the pub.
Yeah, I love how they all turn to the camera. All of them are just cheersing, so not a frown in sight.
Well,
everyone's having a good laugh there, and it's definitely worth checking out the video.
That's just it. You know, the footage is really heartwarming. You know, all these kids are on the balcony with their parents, mum and dad at the pub eating barbecue chips like nothing's really going on. But the smiles on their faces is what I really highlighted for me, because the resilience of Aussies is just absolutely incredible. And these people are making the best out of a really, really awful situation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, I wonder if they'll do a little taxi tinny service to the pub.
I mean, you'd only hope.
Yeah.
You'd only hope. Uber tinnies.
Yeah.